All right, so we have got our yoga for self-care. Really, all yoga is self-care in different ways, depending what we're doing. But this session is really a reminder that it's important to step onto our mats, and important that we take that time for ourselves, that it's not that luxury or we shouldn't feel guilty about it. It's something that helps us feel better. It's good for our physical body as well as our mental well-being. So we're going to have a nice mix tonight of some breath work, some slower movements, some breath to movement, short flows that we can sort of fall into, and then some deep stretches as well. So it's a little bit of everything. And we'll end with a nice seated meditation at the end. So hopefully I will time that right with the music. All right, if you're using the playlist or your own music, you can pop that on. And then we're taking child's pose to start. But make it nice and comfy. You're going to be there a little while, so you want it to be a pose that you can settle into. If you want to use cushions or any props, you can. Of course, if you want to remain seated, if something else is better for you, then you can always take that. That's it. So just land here on your mat. Let this be the first pose that you just allow yourself to fall into. Give yourself permission to be here. This is a time where we step away from whatever we have been doing, whatever the jobs were, the conversations, the things on our minds. This is where we just start to detach ourselves and give ourselves full permission to be here. Also being aware that anything that might arise through our practice, any interruptions or disturbances or noise, that we'll be okay with those. They're just part and parcel of what goes on around us. This is our time on the mat. Start to tune into your breath. Be aware of the breath moving through the body. Be aware of any thoughts that are coming and going through the mind. Just acknowledge them. Know that they will be there to be dealt with after. Just putting things to one side. Really feeling a sense of falling into this space of letting go. Take deeper breaths if you need. Take sighing exhales to release. And just be with your breath for a few moments here. We're going to start with a side bend and then a thread of the arms. So just lifting up onto fingertips. Walk the hands over to the right hand side. Settle into that side stretch. We often take it, so sink the hips back towards the left heel. Breathe into the left hand side. And then from there, your left arm is going to stay underneath the body as you come back towards center, so that you land on the left shoulder, the left ear, and send the left fingertips through and underneath. And then drop into that pose. Let the right shoulder settle. This is all part of transitioning into your practice of clearing space. So take a couple of breaths here. And then you can unthread that left hand back to the top of the mat. Lift onto fingertips, walk over to the left hand side of your mat. Drop into that side stretch and breathe into the right hand side. And then from there, keep the right hand reaching through and underneath. Reposition left arm back on top. Drop onto your right ear, right shoulder. And then you can unthread the arm, come back through your child's pose. And then nice and slowly lift yourself up towards all fours. So we're rounding through the spine first of all. So press down into the hands, into the knees, and just arch the back up towards the sky. Let the head drop down. You can take little movements forward and back here. You can shake the head out. It's feeling like you're opening through the back body. And then come to a neutral spine and just sway the hips side to side. So a little bit of lateral movement, taking hip towards shoulder on each side. So we're really just breaking down the cat and cow, and then from there, drop the belly down, lift the gaze, draw the heart through. Again, little movements, whether that's a rock or a wiggle of the hips, just land into that cow pose. Take a nice big breath in here, and then work with your breath as you exhale to ripple through the spine. Stay with your breath, breathing in as you drop down. Breathing out as you round. Lovely, a few more with your breath. And take one more each way. And then come back to a neutral spine, which is sitting back on the heels, not for too long. Take a big inhale as you sweep the arms wide and overhead, gaze up. Interlink the fingers, take them behind the back of the head and drop the head back into the hands. And then just take an easy sway side to side. And then release the hands behind the back. Puff the chest by drawing the fist just down towards the floor. So not so much away, just down towards the floor. And then drop the chin towards the chest. Just finding any tight spots through the back of the neck. You can roll shoulder to ear, or ear to shoulder rather. You can just stay with the weight of the head drop forward. And then lift the gaze back up. From there, take an inhale, really puff the chest. And as you exhale, lean forward, forehead towards the mat, maybe just hovering or lightly resting down, and lift the hands away from the back of the body. And then we start to pick this up into a movement flow. So as you inhale, release the hands and sweep them up, come high onto the knees. From there, as you exhale, tip the body forward, wing the arms behind you, forehead just hovers. Yeah, so with the breath, inhale to lift. Exhale to bow forward. And just enjoy the breath to movement matching together. You can take it at your own speed. One more each way. When you've taken your next bow forward, just bring the hands forward to the floor, tuck your toes, and then take it up into a downward dog. Just pedal the legs out. That's it. Nice, easy movement, taking what you need. All right, so we'll start to make this breath movement, but we'll take it slowly to begin with. You're dropping your right knee down as if you're going to kneel. And then lifting the left leg up behind you. That's our breath in. So you're lifting the gaze, lifting the left leg. And then dropping left toes back to the floor and stepping back into your downward dog. Yeah. So it's all one breath. Right knee drops. Inhale to lift the left leg. Exhale, drop the toes, step back, downward dog. Inhale, right knee drops, left leg lifts. Exhale, downward dog. Take a couple more with your breath. That's it, last one. After that last one, bring the right knee towards the mat, just the same, but spin out onto your right hand, your right knee, and open the left arm high. Find that side plank, modified side plank. Squeeze the hips forward. And then just let that left arm release overhead. Try and keep it almost drawing back behind the head rather than collapsing forward. Let the weight of the arm fall backwards and down. It may be a small movement. You may have lots of openness. Just breathe into that left hand side. That's it. And then release the hands, come all the way back down, squaring the body with the mat. Step back, downward dog. So doing the same on the left side. Left knee dropping towards the mat. Pick up your right leg, lift the gaze, take a big breath in. And then drop toes to the mat. Take it back, downward dog. Yeah, so one breath forward and back. Left knee drops. Inhale, right leg lift. Toes drop down. Exhale, back, downward dog. Breath to movement. You keep taking your flow. And just making it nice, steady, conscious movements. Almost like a moving meditation. Last one. And then next time your left knee comes to the mat, you're spinning onto it and the left hand, open the right arm up high, squeeze the hips forward. Yeah, open through the chest and drop the right hand over towards the head, but letting it fall backwards as you do. So we almost create this stretch from the right hip with the weight of the arm. Couple of breaths there. And then let that right arm come down, square the body with the mat, step back into your downward dog. Just to transition. And then walk yourself lots of little steps towards the top of your mat. Finishing in your forward fold. Knees can be soft, let the head hang down. Maybe sway it out. All right, from here, take an inhale, halfway lift, fingertips at the shins. Hands come down as you breathe out, right foot steps back, knee to the mat. Pick yourself up. We're taking a nice easy lunge here. Rest the hands on the thigh and just drop into it. You've got 4 breaths. So you can sink right down into the hips, or you can keep it a little bit stronger and work the tailbone down. 2 more breaths. And then from there, release the hands down, pick up your back knee, walk yourself around to the long edge of the mat. We're taking a wide forward fold, so toes in front of the heels. Pick yourself up halfway as you breathe in and ripple forward into your forward fold, wherever that may be as you breathe out. We're settling here for a few breaths, about 6. So tune into your breath. Let the combination of the breath and gravity feel like it's just drawing out any tension, that you're just landing there, letting go. Come back up halfway, lift onto the fingertips. Walk yourself back round to the top of the mats. Staying in your long lunge there, stay on the fingertips, lift the heart as you breathe in. Straighten the left leg just as far as it wants to as you breathe out. And come back forward on the inhale. Easy rocking motions back on the exhale. Take a couple more. We're not holding into our pyramid pose, so it doesn't have to be a really low fold. It's more just finding that movement through the legs, through the spine. Next time you come forward, no rush to get there, just step forward into your fold. Yeah. And then we take the other side, lift the fingertips up the shins, breathe in. Left leg is stepping back, soften knee down to the mat. Lift into your lunge, but just the legs, so rest the hands down. You can sink forward, you can energize the legs, you can send the tailbone down. Taking 3 more breaths here. Connect with your Ujjayi breath, if it's in your practice, or just deep breathing through the nose. From there, hands come down to the floor, pick up your back knee, just the same round to the other side. So walk yourself round to that left edge of the mat, turn the toes forward, take a breath in as you lift halfway. Keep the tailbone lifting as you tip the body forward, breathing out, find that forward fold. Again, we're just settling in for a few breaths. If you want to use the breaths to lift and lower, you can, or you can just let the whole weight of the body tip forward. Feel like it's tipping into the balls of the feet. That's it. One more breath here. And we come up halfway. Walk back round to the top of the mat. Those little rocks forward and back, finding whatever length you have in that right hamstring. So lift the heart, breathe in. Send the hips back, straighten through the right leg as you breathe out. And keep it moving. We've got one more. And then you are bending into that right knee, stepping forward, top of the mat. From there, inhale, root to rise. Bring hands to heart center, pause for a couple of breaths. So we're taking breath to movement and then landing in a longer pigeon hold here. So half salutations for this first round. Nice big breath in as you reach the arms up, gaze to the thumbs. Exhale, hinge and fold. Halfway lift on the inhale. Exhale, fold it down. Press into the feet, root to rise as you inhale, gaze up. Take it straight back down as you exhale. Halfway lift. And fold. We're taking it twice more, all breath to movement, root to rise. Full breath out to fold. Halfway lift. And fold. One more on your own with your breath. From your fold, stay there. We're stepping back, so lift halfway with your breath. Step it back into a high plank. Just an easy cobra, so you can vinyasa, so you can drop the knees if you want to. Take a breath in, lower all the way down to the mat. Baby cobra, releasing the toes. Find your way back into your downward dog. And from there we move into our pigeon with the right leg. So lift the right leg as you breathe in, doesn't have to be high. Step it through, drop the right knee down by the right wrist and inch your left knee back. Finding that stretch into the right hip, taking what you need here. You can stay upright, connect with your breath here, or you can drop the body forward. Always take prayer position with the hands and just rest thumbs into that space between the eyebrows. Connect with your breath. And soften into the right hip. We've got about 6 breaths here. Two more breaths with full awareness on that breath. Keeping the mind with you on the mat. And then start to pick yourself up out of your pigeon pose if you were further forward. Tuck the back toes, inch your weight forward until you can step it back into your downward dog. Nice and easy, coming forward, just lift up onto the toes, gaze towards the hands. Take little steps unless you want to float your way forward. Halfway lift as you arrive. Bow it down. Inhale, root to rise. Hands to heart center. Slightly different second side. Take the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers and puff the chest. So we're still folding forward, still riding the breath as we move. Take a big breath in to fill the front of the body. Hinge and fold yourself forward. Let the hands lift away from the back body just a tiny bit, or as much as you can, but it can be just a tiny bit. And then from there, you're going to release the hands, sweep them past the earth and lift up into your chair pose. Yeah, so taking it with the breath, stand tall, hands behind the back, breathe in. Exhale, hinge and fold. Release the hands, inhale to lift into your chair pose. Exhale to sink and stay. Once more, stand tall, hands behind the back, breathe in. Hinge and fold as you breathe out. Release the hands, lift into your chair. Exhale to stay. Stand all the way up as you breathe in. Hinge and fold as you breathe out. Halfway lift. Step it back, high plank. So moving through nice and easy, you can drop the knees, breathe in as the weight comes forward. Lower yourself down. Take a full breath in for your cobra. Move back to your downward dog. And then from there, we take pigeon on the other side. So lifting your left leg, step it through between the hands, drop left knee down towards the left wrist. Find your pigeon pose. Yeah. So again, you can stay up, work on landing into that left hip. You can drop the body forward. You can take that prayer position, connect thumbs to the space between the eyebrows. Wherever you land, connect with your breath. As the breath enters and leaves the body, be aware of anywhere else that you can soften on that exhale, not just the hip, maybe through the shoulders, the jaw. From there, start to lift up out of your pigeon if you are low. Tuck your back toes, inch forward, returning through a downward dog. Again, your way to come forward, lift up onto the toes, gaze to the hands. You can always float your way there or just take little steps back to the top of your mat. Forward fold, shake the head out. All right, lift halfway as you breathe in. Step your right foot back as you breathe out. A little bit of, not strong, but just a little bit more here before we finish into that meditation. So take the hands behind the back. This time, puff the chest open. You can still sink into your hips, but find a little bit more lift of the heart, a little bit more energy. Breathe into the front of the body. And then release the hands, take them overhead, interlaced fingers, press to the sky. Keep pressing down into your left foot, your right knee, and then gently sway side to side. This might be small movements. You're keeping balance through the legs. Just easing out through side body. One more each way. And then release the hands, take them down towards your mat, pick up your back knee, drop the back heel in and lift yourself up to warrior two. So bending into the left knee, settle into your warrior two. Take the palms to face forward or towards that long edge of the mat. And you're going to sweep the right arm towards the top, bring palms together. And then slide that hand all the way across the chest to the back of your mat. Take the gaze with the hand. So breathing in, hand comes forward. Breathing out, you take it back. Couple of times. Yeah, keeping the legs all the time nice and strong. Release that hand back. Take an inhale to reverse. Windmill hands down to the mat as you breathe out. Drop the back knee and take it straight into a wide lizard. So heel toe your left foot off the mat. Take the right hand slightly wider and then press into your left knee. So you're just letting the hips sink in, roll the chest up, maybe roll onto the outer edge of your left foot. Yes, sink into the hips there. Release that left knee, heel toe back to center. Final standing pose on this side. So pick up your back knee, heel drops in again, return to your warrior two. That's only for your transition. And then straighten your front leg, take a big breath in and glide yourself forward to find triangle pose. Right, left hand connects with the leg. You can stay nice and high or may find the floor. We're here for about 5 breaths, so expand into it. Take up that space. Visualize those lines of energy running through the arms, the spine, and the legs. Please steady out your breath here. And then start to lift a little bit off those fingers, press into the feet, use the core, come all the way back, reverse your warrior. Windmill hands to the front. Step forward into your fold. All right, take an inhale, halfway lift. Left leg steps back this time. Knee to the mat, hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, draw the shoulders back. Breathe into the front of the body. And then release the hands, take them overhead, interlace fingers, press palms high. And sway the body side to side. You can move slowly, just discover what space you have whilst keeping balance. That's it. Release the hands, pick up that back knee. Back heel drops in. Windmill yourself up to warrior two. All right, turn the palms to face that left hand edge of the mat. Your left hand is coming round to meet the right at the top. And then slide it along the arm, the chest, and back to the back of your mat. Take the gaze with it. So inhale forward. Exhale as you return to the back. A few more with your breath. When you next return to the back, you've got an inhale to reverse. An exhale to come back to the top of your mat. Drop the back knee, heel toe, right foot wider, left hand wider, and drop into that wide lizard. So you may just press lightly on the knee. If you've got space in the hip, you may roll onto the knife edge of the foot. Be mindful of how it feels in your knee. So a couple more breaths, sink into the hips as far as you can. And then release the knees, slowly move it back towards center. Pick up your back knee, back heel drops. We're coming back through our warrior two. Only to find our triangle pose. Straighten the legs up, take a big breath in. Reach towards the top of your mat. Let the right hand come down to find leg, ankle, or floor. Press into the feet, expand through the arms. Lengthen from crown of head to tailbone. And start to get lighter on the fingers so you have that control in the legs. When you're there, pick yourself up, bend into the front leg. Big inhale, reverse your warrior. Windmill, hands back to the top. Step it back, downward dog. All right, from there, lower your knees to the mat. Spin yourself round so that legs can be out in front. We'll take a couple of forward folds and then we'll have our seated meditation. So right foot inside left thigh. Pick up your left toes, find connection through the sit bones. Nice big inhale, sweep the arms up high. Reach up and over as you breathe out. Let the head drop, find softness here. And nice and slowly return back to an upright position. When you get there, swap the legs. Left foot draws in. Repositions that you're connected through sit bones. Lift the right toes, take a big inhale to sweep high. And reach up and over as you fold forward. Wherever you land, soften through the head, the back. All right, and then lift back up nice and slowly. All right, from there, take a comfortable seat. So we have done this once before. There's a whole background to this meditation. It's a Kundalini chant and mantra and mudras. I'll have to explain it in the group at some time. But basically what we're doing today is you're touching thumb to index finger and then middle and then ring and little finger. So they're moving in turn. And as you're moving through, you're saying the bija mantras, which is like a seed, one syllable, sa, ta, na, and ma. So sa, ta, na for nana, ma for mother. Okay, so you're going through those four. So you can say them either quietly to yourself, you can say them out loud, you can start sort of saying them and then go into silence. We're going to do about 3-4 minutes, and then you have the option, if that's working for you, to stay with that meditation, or you can lie down into Shavasana at the end. Okay. So I'll start saying the first few with you, then I'll go quiet, and you can just stay with your breath and focus on sounds and the movement of your fingers. All right, so we start with index finger touching thumb. So we have sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma, sa, ta, na, ma. You are welcome to stay with this meditation. Remain seated, or you can take your Shavasana. If you are still taking the mantra, you can release it. If you are lying in Shavasana, then just begin to draw your awareness back. Take some deeper breaths. Return some movements back into fingers and toes. If you're already seated, you can stay as you are. Stay in that place of stillness. And if you're lying, you can begin to stretch. And gradually bring the body back up to that seat. As you land there, keep the eyes closed. Stay connected to your internal world for a few more breaths. And as you remain aware of that space that you have created, the benefit of your practice, and all that it offers for you to then carry away off your mat. We can still feel that sense of gratitude for our practice. As we close that space now, taking a final breath in, reaching the hands high above the head. Breathing out as palms connect and we take thumbs to the forehead for kind thoughts, to the lips for kind words, and to the heart for kind actions. Thank you all for joining me for your practice. Namaste.